Welcome to the 41st CIVITAS annual event. I'm Greg McCarthy.
And I'm Charles Levine. We are co-chair of this year's benefit.
Tonight you will meet up close and personal our 12 mom and pop honorees.
And you also have an opportunity to listen to a wonderful interview by Stephen Lash of Sarah Aucoin and Rob Mastriani from the New York City Parks as they discuss the program of reintroducing the bald eagle to the New York City parks.
We were interested in bringing back the bald eagle, which is native to this area but hadn't been in New York City for over 300 years.
You'll also hear about the key CIVITAS initiatives.
So sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.
Good evening. I'm Mark Alexander, President of CIVITAS, and I wanted to welcome all of you to our 2022 annual benefit.
And I'm Joanna Delson, Executive Vice President of the organization. Tonight, we will show you a short but information-packed presentation about the initiatives we've been working on, and we will tell you how we plan to work on them going forward. We will also introduce you to our honorees and tell you an incredible New York story.
And CIVITAS doesn't get its work done alone. It has to rely upon all of its members and neighbors who've worked for many, many years to pursue all of the projects that we've been successful with. And so to you, all of who are, I'm sure, dedicated to this city and the success of our neighborhoods, we ask that you consider perhaps devoting a little bit of your time to the work of this organization. Just an hour to a week from each of you would inform our future success and ensure that we're working on the things that are important to these communities, and in particular, get the very critical things that need to be done to succeed for New York City's future to be achieved by CIVITAS. So we ask each of you to take that into consideration and perhaps donate some of your time to the future success of this organization. We hope that you enjoyed the program, and thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Pope Marshall. I'm CIVITAS's Executive Director. We're an organization of citizens dedicated to improving the quality of life in our Barrio, East Harlem, and also on the Upper East Side. When I say improve quality of life, what exactly does that mean? Well, we hope to answer that question for you this evening. Shortly, you will hear from CIVITAS's board members discuss just a few of CIVITAS's projects, and I will mention just two. We have other initiatives, including advocacy against the Districting Commission's recommendation that parts of our Manhattan Council District incorporate into a Queens Council District. And by the way, we also organized a fun children's program. You will find that a common thread weaving through the initiatives that you'll hear in more detail this evening, and that weave through all of our initiatives, is that place matters. The place you and I call community, within which we all help to stitch the fabric that connects us and that helps contribute, define, and cement our place within the global village. It is where we say, we live here, we care. This is our home, the wonderfully distinct communities of El Barrio, East Harlem, and the Upper East Side, communities we fought so hard to protect these last 40 years. Because place matters, CIVITAS, an organization of citizens, is empowered to collaboratively speak out and advocate for our communities to improve quality of life. That's CIVITAS. We appreciate you supporting our efforts by being here this evening. Thank you very much for joining us.
We would like to tell you about some of the silent auction items, which will be live approximately 3 more days on the CIVITAS website. The first is Island Restaurant, a gift card for $350 located in Carnegie Hill. The second is Maz Mezcal, another gift card at a wonderful Mexican restaurant, and that is for $150. The next item is a 6-course meal at Lexington Pizza Parlor, and it includes a wine pairing with the courses for dinner. Also, Harlem Baking Company, a case of sweet desserts, including things like tiramisu, also chocolate mousse, very delicious, and that's also available on the auction item. We also have a gift certificate for $150 to Locke's Restaurant, which is located in the Museum of Jewish Heritage. So you can enjoy a traditional Russian meal and then maybe stop by and visit the museum while you're next door. Another great item is a pass to the Frick Museum with a tour for 8 persons, and it is now relocated at the space of the former Whitney Museum as it undergoes reservation, but this could be a great gift for a group of friends. We're also auctioning off K&D wines with a great gift certificate of $500. So that's going to be really special, and they have wines as well as liquors. Another great item is a gift card to J. McLaughlin for $500. They carry both men's and women's, and they're available both online and in a number of stores. So that should be a really great gift. Another one is Brooks Brothers, a gift certificate for $500. Again, located, great store on the Upper East Side, but they have many locales. Also, you can buy online, but it's for both men's and women's apparel, and they also have great, great accessories.
Good evening. I'm Gorman Riley, co-chair of the CIVITAS Environment, Traffic, and Transportation Committee, ETT. E is for the environment. CIVITAS is pushing for an early return to curbside pickup of compost, none of which should be going to our landfill. T is for traffic. Congestion pricing of traffic south of 60th Street is back on track. Daily fees and particular exemptions must be fairly but carefully set so as not to make it impossible to realize the important goals of congestion pricing. T is for transportation, public transportation. Phase 2 of the 2nd Avenue subway, extending service from 96th Street to 125th Street, must not be delayed. The funding is all in place. These are big projects, some costing billions of dollars. CIVITAS also responds to more local concerns. At present, our energies are focused on a single intersection, East 96th Street and Madison Avenue, where the time allowed for pedestrians to cross Madison Avenue at the north side of 96th Street is dangerously short, barely 7 or 8 seconds. We will continue to work with Carnegie Hill neighbors, local schools, and affected businesses to frame a workable proposal for change. This is how CIVITAS works to improve urban life in the Upper East Side and East Harlem.
Hi, I'm Bill Brothers, co-chair with Sharon Pope of the CIVITAS Land Use Committee. Throughout 2022, CIVITAS continued to lobby various community groups and stakeholders to support building height limits in C19 zoning districts on Community Board 8 and Community Board 6 that do not exist under current zoning regulations. We'll continue to support 350 to 400 foot height limits as described by CIVITAS's commissioned Buckhurst Fish and Cats report, and we're heartened that several other neighborhood groups have also expressed support for building height limitations. CIVITAS, through various outreach, proactively organized a series of video conference meetings to create a coalition of Eastside community organizations across 3 community board districts to promote sound, context-sensitive urban planning, zoning, and land use policies for East Harlem, the Upper East Side, and East Midtown. The coalition, brings our communities together as equal partners under one umbrella to support each other and advocate for contextual zoning and reasonable development. The East Side Coalition continues to meet, advocate, and fight for a contextually sensitive zoning policy with the new mayoral administration. We see this as a call to and preferred direction for action. Additionally, CIVITAS stands opposed to the redevelopment of Lenox Hill Hospital by Northwell Health. We anticipate that our next major project will be to help create a united front against the current proposals for redistricting or gerrymandering of the voting districts, which would dilute the legislative representation and our collective voice in our community.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us at this year's CIVITAS benefit. My name is Jim Tripp. I'm a vice president of the board of CIVITAS. I've been on the board for 30 years. I'm standing here in front of the Marx Brothers Playground, one of 268 jointly operated playgrounds in the city of New York. We consider this to be protected parkland, and we want to keep it this way. It is in a very important location and serves the Upper East Side and the East Harlem communities. This is a drizzly, rainy, miserable day, and you can see there's a lot of activity out there. This is used by more organized sports teams in the city of New York than any other playground in the city. The city has come up with a proposal that would use this land for private development largely. We don't want to see protected parkland like these playgrounds to be used for private development. We want to keep it on this block. Maybe it can move to the eastern half of the block, that is fine. But we have teamed up with the Municipal Art Society, Carnegie Hill Neighbors, and the Friends of the Upper East Side in litigation and in an ongoing fight with the City of New York to keep this playground here in this block where it can be used as it has been for many decades by young people from both of these communities. You can help us by supporting CIVITAS. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
This winter, CIVITAS will continue to lobby for a better version of the East Harlem waterfront, something that meets the needs of all elements of the local community, those who go with their families and those who travel through on bikes or on foot. The structure should be designed to last for many generations and protected by a solid shoreline. CIVITAS will lobby for a natural edge with rocks like the storm-resistant shoreline built across the water at Hunters Point South in Queens, where the park is constructed on solid fill with a rocky shoreline that could last for hundreds and hundreds of years. CIVITAS will work with our coalition partners and the community board to study how such an improved waterfront, which has been awaited by the community for so many years, can become a habitat for birds and crustaceans and fish, and have an intertidal zone with tidal pools. These measures can improve resiliency by reducing wave action and storm surge, and ensure a vibrant and healthy esplanade for generations to come. Thank you very much.
My name is Sava Thomas. I have been a proud member of CIVITAS Board of Directors for over 20 years. 7 years ago, upon observing how small businesses were disappearing from our neighborhoods and thus impacting the quality of life of its residents, Jeannie Rice, Jean McEnany, and I recommended to the Board of Directors of CIVITAS to bring this serious problem to the top of the organization's agenda. Since then, CIVITAS has established a close relationship with the mom and pop stores and restaurants in our neighborhood, and many of them have been honored at previous benefits. The pandemic, of course, made the situation a more stressful one. I would like to thank in this evening of celebration those extraordinary businesses which not only have given New York City its unique character, but have provided safety and an important source of employment to its residents. We would also like to thank and celebrate those new small businesses that have recently joined our community. I would like now to invite you to meet the CIVITAS Mom and Pop honorees of 2022.
Welcome to Amuse Bouche Bistro at La Marqueta. I'm Anthony. This is Edward, the chef. We've been here at La Marqueta for about 3.5 years. We've operated our catering business out of the back kitchen for about 8 years, and we've lived in East Harlem for about 10 years. At the bistro, we're open Wednesday through Sunday. Great brunch on Saturday and Sunday, but throughout the week we offer fresh pastries, quiche, French baked goods, an assortment of wonderful drinks and French import products.
We look forward to have you guys.
We're 97 years old and we'll be celebrating a big birthday. My 2 sisters, myself, and 1 nephew. And we have a lot of fun here. We get along. We have only out-of-print and rare books, maps and prints, autographs, first editions.
Cafe Evergreen. Famous for its dim sum brunch and exquisite preparation of scrumptious meals made from scratch, Cafe Evergreen excels at Cantonese delights, including braised sea bass, pepper prawns, and beef brisket. It also offers more than 40 gluten-free options. Make a plan to dine at this Upper East Side go-to for delicious Chinese. Visit 1367 First Avenue or cafeevergreenny.com.
Hi, welcome. This is Contento. We are an accessible and inclusive restaurant in East Harlem. We are located on 111th Street between Park and Madison. In addition to serving wonderful Peruvian-inspired food, we also have an extensive and diverse wine list. We have an amazing bar program, and we have a fantastic staff. We'd love to see you and have you come by.
Tilly's is probably the last full-service grocery store in New York City. We're a family business that was started in 1927 on 92nd and Lexington Avenue by my grandfather. Then his sons took it over, and then his sons took it over. So we're probably going on maybe 97, 98 years. And we still cater very much to an Upper East Side crowd as we did for the last so many years. What we really specialize in is our service. The quality of our food and products comes next.
Hey, my name is James Gonzalez. Welcome to La Fonda. It's an institution of El Barrio. We've been here serving the community for 34 years. It's a Puerto Rican establishment. It's been under different ownership throughout that time, with me being the most recent. We serve the delicious Puerto Rican cuisine. That's all I can say. We've been voted top 10 year over year. Our brunch is pretty epic. We're located on 169 East 106th Street, New York, New York. Come check us out.
Good morning, my name is Jason Prone from the Love Cafe, located at 283 Pleasant Avenue, 115th Street. This November, we've been here 13 years. We're a small business. We cater to the school in the neighborhood. We specialize in coffee and breakfast and lunch. We close early, about 4:30, but we're a local little gem in the neighborhood. We're open 7 days a week. And we just try to give a quality product at a quality price.
Michael's Luxury Consignment Shop. New York City's premier destination for women's luxury designer consignment for 65 years. Fashionistas covet the shop for gently once and never worn designer collections and accessories, carefully vetted and curated by 3 generations. Visit Michael's Luxury Consignment at 1125 Madison Avenue at 84th Street or michaelsconsignment.com. Look like a million without spending it. Parawater Limited Flowers. Well known for English garden and country French floral creations, including the signature arrangement, the Parawater White, Parawater flowers have been featured in Vogue, Town & Country AD, and Brides magazine. Let floral artisans Patricia, Christopher, and Laura create arrangements for your wedding, corporate event, charity benefit, or next dinner party. Visit 960 First Avenue at 53rd or parawaterflowers.com.
Hi, I'm Sandy from Sandy Zoe Kitty Spa. Welcome to my shop where we provide daycare, grooming, and boarding. Been in business for 23 years. This has been my life, my love. I love all types of pets. We groom small to big to large. We groom cats, long hair, short hair, no hair. If you come here, this is the place for you because we take care of your pets. like if they were our own.
Hi, my name is Jason Fell. I'm the co-owner and operator of Sterling Fell and Landgraf Floral Design, located on York Avenue and 79th Street. We've been in business since 2010 with roots dating back to 1959. We specialize in carrying the finest and freshest flowers that we import from Europe, and we create beautiful arrangements for everyday occasions, events, weekly displays for your home, office, or building. We also carry an elegant line of potted orchid plants, and we provide exterior gardening services for buildings. And I would like to say that we have delivered to Manhattan, as well as Brooklyn and certain parts of Queens.
Hi, Laura and I opened up Sunny Cafe in 1998, and we are welcoming everybody for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Thank you.
Well, hello. Civitas was invented 41 years ago. As you can see, the area has changed for the better. You've already heard and seen so many of the projects that Civitas has been involved with. Especially my pet project, double parking of parcel delivery service trucks. So much is better because of Civitas. Every morning, I give thanks to Civitas for the sun rising above the horizon. Well, seriously, Civitas needs you. We need you as a volunteer, and we need your money. So, please, consider that. And now, what you've all been waiting for, Sarah Grimke O'Coin, the Chief Education, Wildlife, and New York City Parks Officer. Must have a big business card to get that title onto it. And she's going to be with Rob Mastriani. He's an urban park ranger. Is that an urban park ranger or an urban park ranger? Well, you can ask them. They're responsible for the reintroduction of the American bald eagle into the New York City parks. And they'll be grilled, the park people, not the bald eagle. They'll be grilled by our wonderful supporter, Stephen Lash, Chairman Emeritus of Christie's. Stephen, at auction, what do you think I can get for this useless red velvet smoking jacket? Only that much. Okay, I'll sew it into a Civitas flag.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a great pleasure to be here. It's a privilege to be here with you, Sarah, and you, Rob. I've been involved with Civitas since its very beginning. I'm the self-appointed president of the Jeannie Rice Fan Club. And you've started this incredible program, Sarah. I want to hear how it began.
Well, as part of our work to enhance the habitat and connect people to New York City parks, we were involved in reintroducing species that were no longer in New York City, but used to be here. And we were interested in bringing back the bald eagle, which is native to this area, but hadn't been in New York City for over 300 years. And at the time, about 20 years ago, we weren't able to convince the State Department of Environmental Conservation that New York City had appropriate habitat to support bald eagles. So we worked for a number of years to show them that New York City had amazing habitat and had been working to restore that habitat, and in fact had plenty of space for eagles. And shortly after 9/11, we were able to obtain a permit from the Department of Environmental Conservation to start a bald eagle reintroduction program in New York City.
And what an appropriate moment it was after 9/11 to start a program on reintroducing the American bald eagle, our national symbol. It could almost make you weep that these two events coincided.
It was really, it was a terrible moment for New York City when 9/11 happened, and we'd already been working on the program and trying to get the permit, but it did seem like an excellent time to give a gift to New York City, a gift that represents our nation and our national symbol. And that also represents the beauty of New York City parks and the work that New York City Parks had been doing and the city had been doing to restore habitat and connect people to the natural world. So it really was a serendipitous moment, and we were very pleased to be able to pull it off.
Sarah, when you started out, you told us about other species that were in New York, in the parks, even centuries ago, in addition to the bald eagle. Could you comment on what some of those were?
Absolutely, yeah. We were also involved in reintroducing the eastern screech owl. We did that right here in Central Park, and they successfully nested in the park. Another example that comes to mind wasn't a reintroduction, but it was the return of a species that had previously nested here in New York City, the piping plover. In the mid-90s, we became aware that the piping plover had returned and was nesting on the beaches in New York City, and the piping plover is endangered. And at that point, we became involved in protecting and monitoring the bird, and we've helped to increase the number of nesting pairs in New York City. So there's a number of different examples, but wildlife coming back to New York City or being returned and successfully nesting here is really an example of all of the work that's been done to improve the habitat and for people to enjoy and for people's health. So they're really sentinel species that help to prove the point that New York City is livable and enjoyable for all.
Well, I am one of those people who thinks it's the best city in the world, and you're making it better. But tell me this, I mean, there must have been challenges along the way. It's been 20 years now. Talk about some of the challenges, if you will.
We really needed to do a lot of work to bring our partners from Albany down to New York City and demonstrate that New York City Parks could support a bald eagle population, a nesting pair. And being able to do that successfully was really our first success. And then there were the logistics of the program. So in order to reintroduce bald eagles, you need to have a nesting site. You need to build a nest for the eagles. You need to come up with a program to bring young bald eagles into the city, feed them, raise them, and then track them.
There were 4 eagles that started the whole program, is that right?
That's correct.
And they were what age?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to have to kick that over to my colleague, Rob. But I will tell you, they came from Wisconsin. But how old were they when they...
6 weeks old, yeah.
And Rob, how did you control them? I mean, eagles begin to fly at what age, for example?
So what we would do is, so like Sarah was saying, we built a nest site. So it's like a tower and a big box, and had 2 nests on each side. So 2 eaglets, one on the right side, 2 on the left side. It was overlooking the salt marsh area. So it's about 40 feet above the ground. And so the way we would get there was we would climb a ladder, a 40-foot ladder. And there was an opening in the nest box or nest site where it was like a slide for the fish. So we were like the invisible parents dropping off the fish. So we weren't handing the eagle the fish, and there wasn't an interaction like that. But once they were ready to fly, we had to open up the enclosure, and then with the DEC, we banded them. On their legs they had a number, and they were colored, so it was a red and black band. And also 2 of them we had GPS trackers on them too, so we were able to track them. So it was a really exciting part of the summer. Once we got to see them, what they do is they do a behavior called branching. So once we opened up the nest site, they just hop out of the nest, and all young eagles growing up, they start practicing using their wings. So how do I use these things? 6-7 foot wingspan. And what they do is jump and hop around, and then they'll hop to branches nearby the nest site. And eventually they start practicing more and more. They might get a little draft or wind, and then take off and have a clumsy first flight, crash land onto a branch, and eventually they get the hang of it, after a couple of weeks.
Do they return to their home nests, so to speak?
What they do is they become more nomadic the first year of their lives. But it's really interesting because when we did track them with the GPS, we saw where they would land by rivers upstate New York, up into Canada, I think one of them was all the way in Labrador, we tracked one. Yes. So yeah, it was really exciting to see how their instinct just takes them to the rivers, and they hang out with older eagles or adult eagles. A lot of times they'll learn or practice hunting or actually stealing fish too from the adults that catch the fish. So yeah, it's interesting to see how they do that. But then they would return down to the Hudson River in the wintertime. They would winter down here, and also come down to the Delaware Water Gap as well.
At what point did the bald eagle become endangered, and why?
Well, it's a great question, and it's actually a really important story. I think Rob can talk a bit about that.
Right. So there was a pesticide that was used called DDT, and it was sprayed on the farms, but it was very toxic to the ecosystem. So of course it would get the insects, but it would get into the soil, and that chemical would wash into the rivers. And bald eagles, their favorite prey or food to eat is fish. So the fish were, becoming toxic with this pesticide DDT. So they would eat the fish, and then what happened was their eggs would become very thin and fragile. So when they were incubating the eggs, they weren't reproducing. So once biologists figured this out, it was banned. That pesticide was banned by the federal government. And so a lot of laws were in place to protect the bald eagle from going extinct and endangered. And just in New York State alone, I believe we had one pair of eagles left that were nesting, that were known of in the 70s, I believe. So now there's well over like 300 nesting pairs, maybe more, because they do make appearances here, hunting in the reservoir right here. We see them up in the Northwoods of Central Park and Riverside Park. It's only a matter of time before they stop moving in.
And we do have two pairs that have been spotted in New York City. So we have a pair that's nesting in Staten Island and a pair that we suspect is nesting in Queens. So they have returned to the city. It's just a matter of time before you can see them from your neighborhood.
Exactly, yeah.
We all look forward to that. Tell me this, though. Spell out a little bit for us the benefits of having bald eagles in New York.
Well, as I was saying earlier, I think wildlife in general, but bald eagles in particular, symbolically but also ecologically, are a representation of the health of the environment. So they are an indicator that the environment is clean or cleaner and able to sustain their population. And that is a great symbol and, sort of a message to us about the health of our own city. But in addition to that, people are fascinated by wildlife and by particular species, and eagles are one of those species. People into the parks, it connects people to nature. When you have to leave your city and see wildlife, it sends a message that your city, isn't a place for wildlife. But now New York City is a place for wildlife. You don't have to leave the city. You can go to Inwood Hill Park to see eagles. You can go to the Bronx or even Manhattan to see a coyote. I mean, we've got fox across all the 5 boroughs. So I think that's an important message for people to understand. It is wonderful to get out and visit your national parks, but we've got national park quality habitat and wildlife populations here in the city, and that's something we should all be proud of.
Very proud indeed. In fact, I've often thought as a preservationist, as someone interested in the built environment, why isn't there more integration between the people who support the built environment with the people who support the natural environment? And with your good work, bringing us several steps closer to that. We appreciate it.
Well, it's our pleasure. And as we move into the future and we're facing climate change and many of the other environmental issues, it's important that the built and the natural environments become integrated more. And I think we see a lot of those efforts already happening. So again, we're very proud to be a part of that effort.
And what are your needs? This is not the moment to be bashful. We are an interested audience here and are following closely these wonderful programs. But what specifically can we be doing for you now?
Well, I think, this was a program that was originally conceived by the Urban Park Rangers, who are a division of New York City Parks, modeled after the National Park Rangers. The Urban Park Rangers started in 1979. And Although many people know about the Rangers and the work of the Rangers, every day we meet people who are astonished to learn that they exist in New York City. So helping to get the word out about Ranger programs, the work of the Parks Department, the restoration efforts in our parks and our habitats, that kind of messaging is really the kind of help that we look for and welcome. The way to build stewardship for New York City parks and for the natural environment is to connect New Yorkers to the natural world through New York City parks. And that's going to resonate beyond the city. It's going to resonate into policies that protect the global habitat.
We wish you nothing but Godspeed, good luck, and keeping up the good work.
Well, thank you very much. And we will certainly follow up and continue to work with your group on making those partnerships.
Thank you.
Since its inception 50 years ago, Surge and Care has held fast to its mission of seeking out older people in our community who need help in managing life's daily activities or accessing essential services, and providing them the support and companionship they require to live with security and dignity in the manner they choose. Their primary service area spans much of the Upper East Side and East Harlem, but just recently, Surge and Care announced an expansion westward across the park. Not only does their staff engage in issues of care, the organization, powered by a team of dedicated volunteers, offers technical workshops, writing groups, pet care clinics, outings, including trips to Broadway shows, and even chair yoga. For all they have done to support our seniors, we salute Surge and Care as this year's community hero.
We would like to tell you about some of the silent auction items, which will be live approximately 3 more days on the Civitas website. The first is Island Restaurant, a gift card for $350 located in Carnegie Hill. The second is Maz Mezcal, another gift card at a wonderful Mexican restaurant, and that is for $150. The next item is a 6-course meal at Lexington Pizza Parlor, and it includes a wine pairing with the courses for dinner. Also, Harlem Baking Company, a case of sweet desserts, including things like tiramisu, also chocolate mousse, very delicious, and that's also available on the auction item. We also have a gift certificate for $150 to Locke's Restaurant, which is located in the Museum of Jewish Heritage, so you can enjoy a traditional Russian meal and then maybe stop by and visit the museum while you're next door. Another great item is a pass to the Frick Museum with a tour for 8 persons, and it is now relocated at the space of the former Whitney Museum as it undergoes reservation, but this could be a great gift for a group of friends. We're also auctioning off K&D wines with a great gift certificate of $500. So that's going to be really special, and they have wines as well as liquors. Another great item is a gift card to J. McLaughlin for $500. They carry both men's and women's, and they're available both online and in a number of stores. So that should be a really great gift. Another one is Brooks Brothers, a gift certificate for $500. Again, located, great store on the Upper East Side, but they have many locales. Also, you can buy online, but it's for both men's and women's apparel, and they also have great accessories.
Good evening. My name is Margaret Bluestein, and I'm a fellow board member of Civitas. I hope that you've enjoyed the presentation thus far, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of our financial contributors. We're extremely grateful for the continued support of our generous host committee, the businesses and individuals who took advertisements in our benefit journal, the ticket sales, as well as the silent auction donations. All of this provides critical financial support that allows us to continue our work in improving the quality of life in the Upper East Side and in East Harlem. As you all know by now, we're a community-based organization with an active board. CIVITAS is always looking for new members that see a need in the community and want to get involved in the solution. If you're interested in learning how to get involved, please contact any of our board members or our executive director, Sharon Pope Marshall. Any of us would be happy to discuss our current projects and committees with you, as well as hear your own ideas. Additionally, the silent auction is still active and can be accessed via our website, civitasnyc.org. There are many interesting New York-based experiences available, as well as gift certificates to the small businesses who have been honored this evening, and other fun and noteworthy items. Please take a look. And finally, I wanted to thank the New York City Urban Park Rangers again for their dedication to the reintroduction of the bald eagle to our beloved neighborhoods. I hope that you enjoy the remainder of the presentation, and I look forward to seeing you in person at a future event, or perhaps strolling the neighborhoods in search of a bald eagle sighting. Thank you again, and have a good evening.